What's up, folks? Out in the shed today. As you can see, it's raining cats and dogs. But I took all my traps out of the vinegar and water. They got a small coat of rust on them now. What I've been doing is, okay, here's what I'm going to say. If you're like me and you like your traps set lightly to where anything gets in them that you don't care what you catch, that's the way I am. I don't care what I catch. I left my pans to where they just fell straight down like that. But they got to a certain point where you go to set them, and you set this, and then you get your trap all down in there, and you get your night latch down, and you go to pushing on your trap to get it bedded properly. You know how you push around it. When you push on it, if you push on one of these levers here, or this back arm where the pan sits on it, if you push down on it, your pan would fall and it would snap shut and get your fingers in there, and it would become pretty dangerous. So what I should have done, here's a lesson that I learned that maybe you guys won't. If you just barely tighten them and you keep them to where they're up, set them, push down on them all around it, and if your pan doesn't move and it don't go off on your fingers, you got it set right. But you're going to want to have that pan where it has at least some kind of tension on it, because it last year became very dangerous. So then when I went to tightening the bolts to tighten up the pans, they were so old that they were breaking in half. So I had to buy a bunch of bolts and nuts, and each trap, I had to go to each trap when I was out in the field. I did most of them. I just now did the rest of them. But it was a pain in the ass in the field. So you're not gonna want to have to do that kind of stuff out there. It's more time consuming, and it just don't need to be done. So tighten those pans up to where they at least stand up barely by themselves, where your trap isn't going off on your fingers. And later on down the road, when you go to have to tighten them, that your bolts ain't breaking and you have to redo every single bolt in them like I did. But these traps here are all older traps. I really need to get new springs on these. I'm probably not, because I'm going to see how I'm going to do this trapping season. My breathing was better, and then it got worse. I don't know if it's the heat and the humidity, but I've been trying to get things done, and it's tearing me up. I mean, it's depressing to think that I may not be able to ever trap again. It's just beyond me. It sucks. It's been very depressing, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to give it a whirl. I'm not going to just stop and die. I'll go and die before I stop and die. So that's just the way I am. These here are all pretty stiff. 4 of these are from last year, the new ones, which I got all mixed up, but all these are pretty stiff. And then this one here is my only Bridger dogless number 3. So I've got 9 traps out in the shed that I didn't use last year that I don't even have to do. But I will have to tighten up the pans on them. So that'll be next when I can get out there without getting soaking wet. I barely got these cleaned off this morning before it started raining. So now that I got my bolts in, and the most I can do to these traps, besides putting new springs on them, which like I said, I don't think I'm going to do it. I stuck a hammer down the one that held on to it, pulled on it pretty hard, and it wouldn't come out. So I'm guessing they're still pretty good. I'll give them another year. See how I do. Next, I'll be getting these painted. And like I said, these are my colors. I got to get some more of each. But this is my start on paint. I'm going to do half of them this green, which is called Gloss Jungle Green. And this is just an orange. This is a new paint that I'm going to try out. That's supposed to be an advanced formula. Like it's the best paint in the world. But we'll see. The green held up pretty good last year. I liked it. So, and I like the colors. Your trap gets set off and it's setting up on top of the ground. You can see it. And say, hey, something tripped off my trap. I got to go over here and rebed it. So that's my point in bright colors. The animal don't care what color it is as long as it's under the ground and they can't see it. So 4 of my older ones I'm gonna paint gray, or 4 of my new ones from last year. 8 of them are still out there that are painted gray, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to find them out of here. Yeah, right. They're all rusted. A few of them I can tell. But I'm gonna do those 4 in gray to try to keep those together. But yeah, I'd really need to get those. I may next year, so that'd be a video I can do next year. But I'm gonna get off here and quit rambling. I got this stuff done. It's hot. I had to shut the door because it's raining so hard. But I'll let these dry pretty good today. And if I do get a chance to paint in the outdoors, it's supposed to rain the next couple days, all day. So I'm seeing on Facebook that it's like this everywhere. Sucks. We still haven't even got the hay baled. The guy that's supposed to do this, they have a lot to do themselves of their own. And now that it did dry out, now it's wet again. So just remember this tip here, guys, because it's going to help you out in the long run, I promise you. Don't let this go like I did. At least keep them pans a little bit tight where you don't have problems down the road. Because if I wouldn't have had to tighten up them bolts, the bolts would have probably still been fine. So, but I'm going to get off here. If you're not subscribing, hit that subscribe button. I'm almost at 800. Leave me a comment if you'd like. I'd like to hear from you guys. So, you guys stay dry and don't float away. Later.